Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So I'm just popping in to just get you an update of where I'm at. Next day, a lot of potato contracts. I was dumb enough to take one. It's just these are long. And I'm not being real fair about saying I was dumb enough to take one. I mean, they pay well, but they just take a long time, so they feel eternal. I think I'm certainly going on 2 hours on this contract. It may be longer. I'm getting closer. I'm honestly concerned that it's not going to let me finish it because it seems like I have a much higher percentage to completion than I have crop left to do anything with. So hoping I'm not going to be sorry for taking this, because yes, if I put in 3 hours of work and then owe a penalty at the end because I'm unable to fulfill the contract, which I think is what happens once you start filling. I think you can cancel a contract before you do any work, because then they can just offer it in full to someone else. But I think basically if you begin to work a contract and then choose to abandon it, there is a penalty. So this is what I'm doing, and I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, here in September, just get you up to date here. So I think I may have shared, silage is full, grass, there's plenty to move forward with, so I'm definitely going to need to empty it today. But I'm going to first start with mowing it up. I may have a little less output, but it is what it is. I can't change it now. I think I actually forgot to fertilize the fields. So I just had a contract that I finished up this morning. So I've gone ahead and done that. So that's a bit of the bank balance being up there. So let's see, start that. I was just mowing grass on my Hobo's Hollow series, so I was kind of like in that mode, like, oh, I need to turn on my back mowers, I need to get into that cycle, but I really don't. So I'm just trying to get a row here. Do one more, and then I'll start going back and moving up and down the fields. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Obviously, once I fill the silo, I'm going to need to stop collecting. So yes, I did pop out and verify, and my nitrogen is okay. So yes, I forgot to fertilize in kind of getting other things done. And you know, as I mentioned, it's a little more challenging for me, I'm sure for many, to get stuff done. We're kind of in the holiday season now, and so there's some real life obligations there, and that has obviously minimized what I can do, and so I overlooked the fact that I needed to fertilize. So it'll be a good test here. I will see what I end up with, but for now, well, it'll be harder to see what I end up with because I'm not going to be able to collect it all. So, yeah, it may go unknown as to what happened, but I certainly have a good amount. So I'm going to continue getting this grass mowed, and when I'm ready to start moving silage out, I'll pop back in, so I'll see you in a bit. Alright, thinking through the logistics of things, I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to actually switch and move silage now. It's 167 at one of the locations. As we talked about, September's a month that we do get a pretty good price rise. This is probably the best we're going to be able to get. It might go up $3-4 more, but the other benefit I have is, you know, at least at least taking, say, 3 loads. So I'm going to do that. I'll start with that, and then I'll return to the fields. But if I can do that, that will keep the silo going, and then the little bit I can get done, so I may actually only need 1 load, but because the whole silo can only do 84,000 in 24 hours, so it's what, it's less than 4,000 an hour. So yeah, I'll just take this load and I'll actually then just jump back in. But this will give you the view of what things look like. And then certainly at the end of the day, or at the end of my mowing, I am going to go ahead, take more, and sell it. So the price here is dropping, so it's possible that it will then decrease somewhat. I probably should have gone down below. So yeah, it's the livestock market, which is over on it's that building past the field there. So it's probably 6 1/2 dozen of the other as to which way it would have been better to go, because yeah, actually if I took that road it would have brought me up here anyway, so I don't think there's a great way to get here. So the biogas I think is a little bit more direct, and right now the biogas is $1.59, so I'd be looking at a difference of $8 a thousand. So for this load we're talking $128 difference, but you know, we're going to be moving 20 loads, so it's going to be several $1,000s that we would be seeing a difference in. So this isn't that different, but so this should go ahead. Now again, we should also get a little bit of a bonus when we do this. The biogas, you can see, is right there, so they're both very, very close. And if I go down, oh, interesting, so I don't get a bonus here. That is something that now, okay, so if I go down, yeah, so the challenge ends up being I'm getting more here, but I then have to figure out my environmental bonus, because the BGA will give me the bonus but the livestock dealer will not. And I've seen that happen in some cases on Shellbrook, if you recall, if you watched my general FSN series that is now on Hobo's Hollow. So if you'd like more FSN farming, certainly please check out that other series that's coming up on 200 episodes, where that's the ongoing farm that I have in FSN. When I took milk, one of the locations on Shellbrook, PV Smart, would give me an environmental bonus for milk, but the grocery would not. So, yeah, there is a cultivating contract out there, so I was expecting maybe once he popped in he would grab that, but I guess he just was looking for something else and decided whatever he needed wasn't there. So had an FM show up and leave, but yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what makes sense, because the challenge is certainly a little bit different, because even if I have, say, 10%, that 159 is going to be $15 on top of that, and so suddenly I'm going to be at 174 as my total that I'm walking away with, versus the 167 I just did. So I think what I'm gonna do, so I'll let you see it with me, just make sure that what I'm seeing is correct. I'm going to take another load, but I'm going to run that to the biogas. And so you saw we had 27.94, I think. Went a little too far. Unfortunately, because I have some contract work in there, the harvest income isn't pure with just what I tossed in right now. So I can't look at my finances and get what that was, but I recall it was like 27.94. So we'll see between the bonus and this, we should be getting more than that. You know, and again, it may not be significantly more because we might be talking a little bit. Whoa. Wow, because I didn't fertilize. So yeah, we're gonna get 3% is gonna be 4, but I mean, it's gonna make it closer, and I would almost say this is an easier delivery. So I think this will be quicker. But yeah, that nitrogen took a hit in a couple ways, because now that environmental bonus is down. So lesson learned, that is for certain. Do not neglect your fertilization, because I didn't just fall, say, to the middle. I fell quite a bit. And the nitrogen score is 30. You know, so there's a good amount. I mean, out of 100, it's 30% of our score for the possibility. So if we take a look, we've got 10. You know, I've left 20 points. I could have my fields at 60. So yeah, that's a hit. I'm just a little confused because I'm not sure that that's my combined score. But it could be, because it just looks like it should be higher than that, given everything else. So I'm thinking it is, or we wouldn't have a bonus at all. So we've got to be over 50%. Or there'd be no bonus that we'd be getting. We could potentially get a penalty, which would really be terrible. But let's see what this looks like once we're delivered, and then at least I'll know which direction I want to head. But as you can see, it was significantly faster to come here. Alright, so I'm actually not getting a bonus anywhere, because you can see in theory this decreases my sell prices by 3%. Okay, so this one, interesting, is still 80, and I think that's probably because I had fertilization left at some point. I don't know. Okay, so there we go. Our environmental score is 53 overall. So that's why I'm getting nothing. So yeah, it's just going to be a determination of, do I want to quickly unload the silo, or do I spend a little bit more time and potentially get some extra money? So I think I will probably make the extra trips, because once I'm done mowing, like, there's the urgency is gone. The grass can stay. I've got another day to pick it up. Tomorrow I'll have more time. So there's a little bit of time pressure on me here to get the ground mowed, so that so I don't lose another harvest. But I've certainly learned my lesson, because I went from a 10% bonus to a 0. So it may not be that the livestock dealer isn't giving me a bonus and the biogas does. It's simply that I don't have one. So what I shared earlier may not be valid. So at this point, what I am going to do is I am going to go ahead and do this work and get everything moving, get things sold, obviously pay down my loan as much as I can, and I'll make a determination. More than likely, I'll pop in at the end, toward the end of the day, and just add a few minutes at the end to give you a summation of where we landed, so that you understand. As I was going to say, if there's a possibility, if I really get things done, there's no contracts, I could edit the video and actually get it out there for folks during Christmas Day in the U.S. Time, if someone has time to watch the few minutes that I'm putting up. But we'll see how everything plays out. So if I have that opportunity, there may not be a summary, but if I don't, and I'm putting things up late anyway, I'll just kind of post it before I go to bed and go from there, assuming I don't suddenly get some great result on contracts, which could happen. So, but right now, I am going to go ahead and just keep going. Yeah, I thought I had everything on, but I don't understand. What am I missing? The loading wagon is just not on. Pickup is down. Alright, now we're good. So, with that little bit of a distraction, sorry, I didn't really end cleanly, but I'll go ahead and do that now, and more than likely, I'll be back. But if not, I'll see you next time. I'm back here, just finishing up last few items. So, I think I had mentioned that I realized, I know I had mentioned that I had not fertilized. I am not going to make that mistake again, because I started to really realize, like, this is kind of a big deal for multiple reasons, even beyond what I stated. I mean, yes, I'm losing when I sell my silage, but this also impacts any overages I have for any other crops. So as I do harvest contracts, I am going to run into situations where I could have gotten a higher bonus, and again, I've gone from 10% to 0. So, you know, when you're talking about a 10% bonus on, say, a 2,000 crop overage, I mean, that's $200 that I'm foregoing. You know, and on this silage, it's the same thing. It's, you know, 2,700 to 2,800, maybe even up to 3,000 in some cases on the silage that I'm selling, and so I'm losing 200 or 300 a load, and I'm talking about 20 or 30 loads, or 20 loads or something to get the full silo move. So we're talking about a $4,000 to $6,000 hit because of that oversight. And that's for not spreading, in essence, a little over $1,800 of fertilizer. And that obviously doesn't count whatever I dropped in yield, which I won't know, because as you can see, I've got rows on the field, as I expected. Let's see. Oh, we got everybody joining. So, drop over here, because I think I'm far enough away that it's just not sensing. So I don't know that it's, I've turned it on. I don't know that it's going to go. It doesn't appear to be. So, let me go down here, though, because I'm sure I can get that little bit as well. So that should take care of that. There we go. So now I'm at least fertilized. So I had bought some fertilizer, but I basically got it all back. There was a fertilizing contract that came up in between. So overall, certainly had a pretty good, productive morning. Now the rain has started, so if any harvest contracts come up, I can grab them, but I can't do them yet. So I suppose I'll just kind of, well, no, I don't want to do that yet. I still have some time, and I can now. I need to at least move a few loads of silage. Once again, I can wait a bit if I want. It's just what I don't want to do now, because otherwise I run the risk of having November be a bit of a cluster. I don't want the silo to ever be full, so I want to leave enough. And as you can see, I've got I think I can go up to 338. So, you know, I've got 20,000, but that's not a lot. So after all this was said and done, this is kind of what I'm looking at. You know, no penalty, but overall, not great. All right, so at this point for the speed, I don't know that $8 is gonna matter. I'm trying to get some, well, I don't know. There's nothing else I can grab. The issue ends up being if I could grab another contract that I wanted to work. There was a cultivating one. I'm thinking one of the folks that hopped on just got that, which is fine, obviously. It had been there, and it's kind of fair game for folks, so I'm guessing. I know Loct is always looking for contracts. Donald had hopped on, but he had been on for a few minutes before Loct joined, so I'm thinking he just chose not to do it, but I don't know for certain. He might have been trying to get the lay of the land on certain things and then kind of lost out. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to go up there, and I mean, yes, it's going to be a few $100s, but if it's the difference at this point as it is with the time situation and how much time I want to put into this, because I'm probably only going to do 3 or 4 loads here, so we're talking basically it's going to be $450 or something. So it's not nothing, but you know, at this point, if I can push things off a little bit more over the next couple days, then start selling the silage, just kind of keep staying ahead of it, that will allow me to get a better price anyway, and that hopefully will happen at the biogas plant, and then I won't have to worry about where I'm headed. Or it's just less busy to go this way. I don't know, I may try this. So I'm gonna head up because I think this will get me where I need. Just, there's not a great way because of field 30 kind of dividing everything up. So yeah, the other thing, I don't know that I had shared with you, but I had seen this as I drove by. Loct is doing bees down here as well. So he's cranking out a little bit of honey. It looks like he's got a couple hives. I also don't remember if bees provide any benefit to grass. I don't think they do. They do to like sunflowers or something. I don't know. It's probably not a bad idea to come up here, I guess. So, because in the end, it's only 450, but again, we're not talking about loads of money here that we have, so it's kind of stupid to leave that out of the way. I mean, it's you know, less than a 1%. Or no, I guess it's more than 1%. It's less than a 10% difference. But it's still, you know, 5% or something, because it's what, $8 on, so yeah, it's 5%. It's a 5% markup that I'd be dropping by not bringing it out here. So I'm going to run some loads. I don't know. I'll see if I just continue to stay on or what I want to do. And because obviously it won't hurt to run all the silage. It's just there's a possibility of getting more. It's just the problem is I think tomorrow the price goes up minimally. It's a short bar, and you know, I'll take a look at that, but if that's the case, obviously, you know, waiting to get an extra $3 or $4 and, you know, having the stress of, because tomorrow I think will be a good contract day. There's really only 5 fields that are harvestable today, it looks like. So if I'm looking for harvest contracts with this time of year is kind of really what what I'd be doing. Whoops, let's not get stuck in the trees. Not as many showed up today as I thought, which is good, because then that means I don't have to worry about... Yeah, and that... No, that's not Loct's field. I was going to say, Loct is obviously took the contract because he's not here, but somebody else. And now as always, when I do that, I forget what I was talking about. Oh, the harvest contracts. So I was worried that obviously September being the first day that a lot of things are harvestable, and August had some, which is why we had potatoes and things. But I was thinking there might have been, 10 or 15 fields that came due today, and that's not looking like that's the case, which works out for me because I can't do a lot today, but I'll be able to do a lot more tomorrow. So I could turn it into a pretty nice payday if I want to tomorrow, I think. But we'll have to just see how things play out in the world. But at this point, I just wanted to give you an update of where things are at. I've put 7 loads into the silo, so I am keeping track of that because I do want to at least get some benefit, kind of the silver lining of bad news where I had neglected to fertilize my fields. I want to get the information about what does that do to the yield, so that I have actual data as opposed to just empirical data that I'm thinking is what I'm going to see. Now I'll have actual data to know on unfertilized fields, what did I get versus the 300,000 or so that I got off the fertilized fields. My biggest issue, however, is part of this plan was have all the grass picked up before I mow on in October. I don't know that that's going to be possible because I think I've got more than half. Well, I know I've got more than half because basically I had half of the 2 original fields cut and picked up, and then I hadn't touched the new field. So I have more than 50% of my grass sitting there. Now, I could, we'll see how close things are. As part of it is I could delay the cutting of the grass in November till, the end of the day, which is going to then give another 12 hours or something of running, which will process another 40,000 plus liters of grass out of there and give me 40,000 more liters of capacity. Because if I have everything sitting on the field, then I just mow and then basically pick up later. That's fine. And what I may do, I'll have to take a look, because if I can cut grass in the winter, I may just not worry about mowing it in November. I may just wait until I can actually get it in there, and then because then at least I get the benefit of the efficiency of mow and pick up versus going back to 2 separate passes. So that's what I've got. That's the status at this point. I'll keep looking for contracts. I'll keep running some silage, making a little bit of money, and doing what I need with the finances on the farm. But for now, I'm going to wrap this as the next generational farming episode, and I will see you next time.